It's got it. Hello, people of the world of the internet. Today I have a special surprise for you because it is a new project for the channel. Just to make this clear, I am not stopping the progression of the Celica. Progress is still going to continue on this. I'm still going to keep making videos on it. This is just a side project. And also, subsequently, it is the next giveaway on the channel. So what do you think? This is your first time seeing it.
Pretty neat. It's a really clean car. Very complete.
So here it is. It's a 1982 MA61 Toyota Celica Supra with a 5M GE 2.8 liter straight six. There are 5 generations of the Toyota Supra, the first of which is the least well known, I feel, and it didn't get as much attention not until the second generation came out, which is confusing for some because it's a Celica and a Supra. It's a Supra trim of a Celica. The third generation is when the Supra really started to come into its own and separate itself from the Celica. And then in the 90s with the Mark IV, when the cult following started to happen because of the Fast and the Furious movie. And then now the 5th generation, which gets a lot of criticism because of its BMW underpinnings, but it's still a phenomenal performance car nonetheless. The car is completely stock other than the stereo head unit, and yes, it is an automatic. However, I already purchased all the OEM components, including a second I as in W58 transmission like I'm using in my Celica, to convert this thing to a manual. It's got black leather interior, and the leather is in amazing shape. Like, there's no tears in the back seat. Super clean back here. The headliner is this weird vinyl pattern with little holes in it, like little flower holes. The door cards are in amazing shape. Like, there's no tears or defects on these either. It has power mirrors, a little control down here in the center. Also has power door locks, a coin holder. And this, I think, is for a fog light. It's got a picture of a light on there. It's kind of faded. A little ashtray. Doesn't look like it's ever been smoked in. The passenger side seat, the leather's in really good shape. It's not really that cracked anywhere. Driver's side seat, it looks like the bolster has been repaired before, but it's not torn, so that's a plus. Carpet's in good shape. There are no holes worn in it. Just needs a good detailing. It is an L-type model, so it does not have the flares. It has these absolutely rad 80s GT Apex wheels on it. They're 14 by 5.5, I believe. Don't buy cheap foam guns. You get what you pay for. So this car was owned by a retired engineer that used to do laser light shows back in the 1980s. And the way he got this car is he did a laser light show for a friend, and the friend had just bought this car new and traded him this car plus money in payment for the show. So, and he owned it ever since then. It had 3,000 miles when he got the car. So it's essentially a one-owner car. It has just over 115,000 miles on it right now. The car is all stock, and yes, I did just wash it. It was dirty. Oh, and you better believe I'm gonna need to dry ice blast in this engine bay. But this is gonna be a good one to clean up though. Ew, it has hood struts. What the fuck? I just noticed that. This is the 5M GE 12 valve dual overhead cam 2,759 cc straight 6. With EFI. It's a Bosch L Jetronic system, kind of like the K Jetronic that I have in my Audi, but different. Which means this bad chicken's capable of 145 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque. Car was garaged its whole life, and you can tell, I mean, I'm in Arizona, that's where the car spent its life, and it's not sun-faded. The biggest difference between the L-type and the P-type model of the MA61 in North America was the P-type had over-fender flares and wider wheels on them, and most often were manual transmission. However, they had an analog gauge cluster, whereas these L-types that did not have the plastic over-fenders, had these smaller wheels, had a digital gauge cluster standard. And now for the best part of this car. The gauge cluster in this thing is absolute fire. And it all works still. The tachometer This little digital bar, so sick. There's this little trip computer down here where you can calculate your miles per gallon and when you're going to arrive, how many miles of fuel you have left to go, and of course, a digital clock. And then you can change the scale for your fuel and your speed with these. So you can switch it over into kilometers per hour or miles per hour, or from full to empty to fractions, 1/4, 1/6 empty. And for 1982, this thing had cruise control. This little gadget barnacle on the gauge cluster controls it. Even had automatic climate control. You can set your temperature over here. Of course, it has AC. And then down below has an equalizer for the head unit, which has been replaced with a not so period correct unit. I might change that. So this thing has had a little bit of paint work in the past. I just discovered this. Being that this is an Arizona car, it doesn't surprise me, but the roof has been resprayed before, which subsequently blends all the way down into the rear quarters. So those, along with the roof, are not the original paint, which leads me into the issue that this car had. The passenger side door has this harsh edge right here. Almost looks like there was a pinstripe, but that's not what this is.
Just like a skin.
Tiny bit.
Yeah, because you can see the sand scratches. They start like right here and end right here-ish.
Yeah. You can't really see it on camera, but there's some little sand scratches. So literally what some body shop did was they just resprayed from the trim strip to a harsh tape line and repainted the center of the door, which means I know I have to repaint the passenger side door on here. But being single stage black, it shouldn't be very hard to get a perfect match. I am so excited to do this part. You have no idea. I don't know. There's something about taking cars that are clean survivors like this that just need good detailing and seeing what kind of potential you can bring out of them. After one pass, you see right here where the light is at, there's all kinds of little tiny little specks, like little pits in the finish.
What did you do? Oh, you polished it, okay.
Yeah, I'm debating whether I should do a fine little wet sand. A second pass didn't really net me much different results, and it seems like this is a contaminant that's embedded into the paint. Unfortunately, I lost my paint depth gauge. I'm gonna have to order another one. I really wanted to check this, but it is single stage, so I'm gonna try a little bit with these 3000 grit dry sand pads. That's amazing. Look at that. This pad is brown. It's not even taking any of the paint off. It's just literally pulling dirt out. This is what a clay bar should do, but it didn't. Luckily, it doesn't gunk up the pad. I can just wipe all the dirt off the pad. And here are your results of a bit of paint correction. That's what's up. This is gonna clean up so nice. I told you work is still going to resume on this project. I'm not stopping it because of the Supra. And Angel is finishing out the final piece of bodywork. It wasn't enough to make a full video on. We'll be able to get this thing in epoxy and high build over the weekend.
Yeah, well, we have 2 days to get it ready.
Yeah. Now, as far as the giveaway goes and how you can enter to win this, it is officially going to kick off on the 26th of May this month, so a week-ish from when this video is first airing. And the link will be down below in the video description in case you're watching this in the future. Now, unlike the last giveaway I did on the Beetle, this time I pre-ordered merchandise, so everything will be on hand when you place an order to alleviate wait times, with the exception of black t-shirts. Those are in a global supply shortage because Taylor Swift bought all of them. Because she literally sells $5 million per concert worth of merchandise and has ordered all the black t-shirts in the world. At least that's what the merch guys that run my giveaways told me. So it's first come, first serve on black t-shirts, and then you'll have to wait for more to get restocked. I don't care what anyone says though, single stage paint looks the best when it's polished out. Like look at that, that's 41-year-old paint with just a 2500 and a step 1. I know some of you are probably watching this video right now wondering what the hell am I actually doing, considering this isn't a detailing video, it's supposed to be showing you the new project. But detailing is super time consuming, so I'm killing 2 chickens with 1 buffer. Don't kill chickens with a buffer. But all seriously though, the reason why I'm doing this is because I gotta mix up some paint and color match for this door, and you can't do that until this is paint corrected so I can get the accurate color of what this car is. This is crazy.
Damn, what a difference.
Right?
Polish makes, like...
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, what a difference.
If you feel the very edge, like I'm pretty sure this is the original paint on the hood.
Oh yeah, yeah. I see a chip here, but it doesn't look like there was black paint under this chip. It looks like primer.
So then, yeah, if you want to take the door off, then and this is still original too, right?
Yeah, that's original paint down there too.
If you want to try to get some of those sedan scratches out without getting rid of the texture, you can use a soft pad with 3000 on the DA.
Okay.
And you can try to run over it, and sometimes you can get rid of some of those machine for the scratch marks.
Yeah.
Without getting rid of the orange peel.
Okay. I have not seen underneath this thing since I bought it, so now that I can do my color match, I just needed to get that little bit of polishing out because I didn't need to. There's gonna be detailing videos coming on this. I was too anxious. I wanted to see how clean this car would be. It looks happy with its little headlights up, even though they're not turned on. Oh man, it's super clean. I cannot wait to dry ice blast under here. This is wild. You can tell this is an Arizona car. Absolutely zero corrosion. And there's an oil leak. I think it's a rear main seal. This is fine because I'm gonna have the transmission out when I do the W58 swap. That's 1982 for you. Oil filter is in a terrible location. No wonder there's oil spilt everywhere. One thing this car absolutely is gonna need though is suspension. The suspension is probably original and it's a little tired. The tie rod ends look fine, and the boots on the inner tie rods, those aren't torn. Oh yeah, for sure. That's probably the original shock on this thing. That's crazy. Usually one of the first things to go missing on an older car like this is the underbody plastics. It's got it. And it's not cracked or damaged or anything. That's amazing. There is quite a bit of differences between the automatic and the manual version of the MA and GA61. GA we never got here in North America. That was in Japan. The Celica XX, those things are sweet. But Ayaz and Warner automatic transmissions had a different drive shaft and final drive than the manual transmission cars. So I bought all of those parts off a donor Celica Supra. Made in Japan. These can't be the original shocks. There's no way. Well, they're KYBs. I doubt it. I mean, these are definitely old. The fuel pump has been replaced, that's for sure. These things do have IRS though, and a tiny little anti-sway bar, which they still make aftermarket adjustable ones for these cars. I know I wouldn't hear the end of it in the comments if I didn't at least drive this thing in this video. There's one issue though, I haven't had a chance to register it yet, and I don't have a printer to print out a temp tag, so I will register it this week, and I'll do a car review on this thing. I have driven it when I test drove it, and it runs great. It fires right up. Even after sitting before I filmed this video, it sat for over a month and it fired right up. Actually, it's been a couple of months now since I bought this thing. I've been hiding it for a while. It sounds good, but it's too quiet. The automatic transmission of this thing is poop. It is super lackluster and lazy and just not performance oriented at all. So for those of you that were disappointed with the RA21 and saying that it was a survivor car, that's a survivor car right there. And it's gonna go to one of you. So over this mini series, what I got coming up is some period correct bolt-on modifications that are completely removable. The car will come with the stock parts still, and also addressing some paint issues and getting this thing looking brand new again. And of course, I'll have the RA21 in paint hopefully within the next couple of weeks, and the V8 should be back from the engine builder fairly soon as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!